So, what if AI's next big breakthrough wasn't for some tech giant, but for the 70% of community leaders who are just absolutely burning out every single weekend? Today, we're going to look at Shepherd AI, a tool designed not for Silicon Valley, but for a massive group that's been almost completely overlooked by the tech world.
You know, this sentence, it just gets right to the heart of this deep-seated tension. This isn't just about being busy, it's about being pulled in a dozen different directions. One minute you're a spiritual guide, the next you're a grief counselor, and then bam, suddenly you're also expected to be a social media guru. It's an absolute recipe for burnout, and it's happening every single week in small communities all across the country.
And look, this is not a small problem affecting just a handful of places. We're talking about the vast majority of US churches. This micro-church majority is really the backbone of countless communities, but they're so often the most under-resourced. And when the person leading the service is also the communications director, well, something's gotta give. Okay, on the left, you see the Saturday night scramble. It's that feeling of dread and exhaustion that is just all too familiar for so many leaders. Then on the right, you see the dream, a weekend where you can actually rest and connect with your family. The gap between these two realities, that's exactly where Shepherd AI is trying to make a difference.
This brings us right to the heart of the issue. What happens when this deep passion for community runs headfirst into the harsh reality of, well, what we can call time poverty?
To really get it, you have to understand the bivocational pastor. By day, they're a teacher, or a carpenter, or a nurse. But when their regular workday is over, their second job begins, leading a community, preparing sermons, and keeping the whole church running, often with little to no help at all.
And this time, poverty, it creates this awful, vicious cycle. The pastor pours, say, 10 to 15 hours into the weekly sermon, which leaves practically zero time left for things like outreach. And without that outreach, the community can start to shrink. And as it shrinks, the pressure on that pastor just grows more and more intense.
Now, if time is the problem, you might be thinking, hey, isn't AI the obvious solution? But for this specific audience, generic AI tools like ChatGPT, they actually create a whole new set of very, very serious problems. So these leaders are stuck between a rock and a hard place. On one hand, you've got generic AI. It's cheap, sure, but it can be a theological minefield. And on the other hand, you have enterprise software that costs a fortune and is way too complicated for a one-person team to figure out.
But honestly, the biggest barrier here isn't cost or complexity, it's trust. Pastors are genuinely terrified of an AI generating heresy. You know, content that's just flat out theologically wrong, or something that just feels soulless and inauthentic. It's a risk they simply cannot afford to take. And this is where Shepherd AI's secret sauce comes in. It's a concept they call theological intelligence. And it's not just another AI tool. It's a completely new way of thinking about how AI can serve a community of faith. Think of it like this. Instead of the AI just kind of making things up, it has a library of trusted books that it must consult before it can write anything. This tech, which is called RAG, makes sure that everything it creates is accurate and aligned with the church's specific beliefs. It's this safety net that builds that all-important trust. So here's how it works in practice. It's super simple. First, you just feed the AI your sermon notes. Then, it dives into its theological library to find all the right context. And finally, it generates content that is grounded in those trusted sources so you know it's both accurate and authentic. So, what does all this tech actually add up to? Well, the creators call it the Sermon to Sunday engine, and this is where the real magic happens. It takes one simple document and turns it into a whole week's worth of communications. And the best part? It is incredibly simple. You do not need to be a tech wizard. You just upload a PDF, paste in some text, or even just type in a Bible verse. That's it. No complicated prompts, no confusing settings, just simple. And from that one single input, you get everything you need for the week. A summary for the bulletin, a ready-to-go newsletter to keep everyone informed, a full social media pack to reach a wider audience, and even a discussion guide to help your small groups go deeper. It's literally hours of work just done in an instant. The pricing is also designed to be super accessible for any budget. For just $15 a month, you get all the core tools. But for only $10 more, you get unlimited use and a feature that actually learns your unique writing style over time, making the content even more personal and authentic. And all of this brings us back to where we started. This isn't just about technology. It's about giving someone their life back. It's about reclaiming the weekend The ultimate payoff here is huge. For a bivocational pastor who's already stretched to the absolute limit, saving 8 or more hours a week isn't just a nice little bonus. It is a total game changer. That's an entire workday handed back to them every single week. This quote from the company's own strategy really says it all. The goal is to finish your Sunday prep by Friday noon. See, it's not about selling software. It's about selling a lifestyle. It's about buying back your time, your sanity, and your ability to truly, finally rest. So Shepherd AI is for a very specific niche, for sure. But the problem it solves, burnout, is universal. It really makes you wonder, right? Could this be the future of work? Could hyper-specialized AI that truly understands our unique needs be the key to unlocking a more balanced and fulfilling life for everyone? It's a powerful idea to think about.